This is not just yet another phase. This is why I said it's not just another recession, another economical difficulty. This is yet another little war here, little war there. But the understanding that in any situation that the status quo is being challenged and broken brings with itself a possibility for change and true sense of freedom. Look at the society at large, what it has become. I can see how my own children in this household, right? Whatever I may, whatever role I may be here, whatever I may be a role model, whatever, in my own home, I'm not winning the war of that what is being claimed, my own kids here. You see? They are already device programmed. They are already taken plunge firmly into the matrix. I may hold my positions. I may exercise my rights, but I would have to let go. You see? With this one, in 2-3 years, with that one maybe will take longer because he is younger, so forth. You see? This is not freedom. This is an illusion of freedom. So a true tantrika in me is actually exhilaratingly excited. No matter how horrifying it may sound for some of you, for me as the father to say this, I don't want to go into this, that I never created anything tangible in my life in a sense of settling down. 56, no pension plan, no building to call a house. But the reason is because I have found myself fully and utterly at home. What I now see is that the world has come to a place where this reorganization is going to take place, whether people, earthlings, like it or not. Because the enslavement of us as species is fully take place. Fully. We have become automated beings. And you are the best. You are the creme de la creme. You are the awakened ones, right? You are the ones where the consciousness is alive, kicking, shaking. Look around you with clarity. Honesty. So, I mean, apocalyptic world, it's apocalypse is a part of that, what the revelation is. Apocalypse is tearing the veil being torn. That's what the meaning of the apocalypse. The end is only the end of a certain ways, and these ways would not end in any other way. So this is why we live in such time when it will be dismantled and ruptured in such way. Look at the world, look at every situation possible, any situation, every situation. It's like nobody willing to take an iota of responsibility. Everyone is just immediately playing ping pong whenever it comes to something. Take this current so-called Ukrainian-Russian or Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Do you think the war was avoidable? Do you think war was preventable? Let's speak logic now. Let's speak that clear-cut, looking into the situation, equipped with as much information on the topic possible. And tell me, we have a hero in this president. Every single human being on the planet knows the flag of Ukraine. The war is turned into some kind of emblematic event. Yet if we are honest, and if we really look into our heart and say, what if I was this president? Or if this president, a president who loves his people, what would he do? He would do everything he can to avoid the war. You see? But this doesn't come into our head ever. Because this immediately overrides with other values, more important values. Values of what? And the words start flying around. Slogans. They don't have meaning. And I'm not even going to go into this, who is this man, who is that man, what is this man done, what is their provenance. I'm talking about the core of this. Core of this. Where is the core of this when we throw this on a scale of value? If you know that this is what's happening now, and you can avoid it, and you are given the position, this is why I like when that US ex-diplomat, right? I think chiming with what the US military intelligence man said when asked, what do they think about Ukrainian president? Is he a hero? Both said, no, he's not a hero at all. How can you be a hero? That's not a hero, it's a puppet. If he was true hero, he would have already done something to avoid this. At any cost. You see, because the cost is way too high. Way too high. This is just a sliver of into the situation. You can say, well, wait a minute, what about Putin? Why couldn't he do something till the very end? What about this president? What about that president? No, nobody can do anything. Everyone is running with their holy flag. Everyone is holding something holy to them. The difference is, of course, is that some holding a holy flag of literal manifestation of the lowest of the low. And they're carrying this flag that basically flag of oblivion, flag of plunging everything into darkness and nothing else. They are already hostages to the dark forces on this planet. They've long ago cohabited with very, very nasty kind of creatures of the lowest of the low. And now, these people cannot make any sacrificial movements. We cannot expect them to do nothing that can bring or restore clarity. So in other words, this whole thing is just, it's a will. It's whirling itself in such way that what I said, what we're witnessing now, is only a prelude to what to come. And the prophecies of the past, I'm not talking about this prophecy or this. The prophecy here literally is clear-sightedness of what is happening. And this is what I mean, the spiritual work, no longer the luxury of a few. It's a requirement of the moment. So that I want to know, how prepared are you? Are you going to be the vehicle of light? Are you going to be the container of light? That's what matters. Will you be able to carry that light in you wherever you are, no matter what? This is why I said, at some point, it's only what book you read at that time, what movie you watched at that time, what piece of music you had at that time, what conversation you had at that time. If it formed you, if all these things arranged themselves in such manner, it built a proper container where the integrity is intact, Light will enter in no time. Light is already there, but it will do its work. But if there is these crevices, these crooked spaces, these dark, black, unknown, unacknowledged spots, then the possibilities will be to coerce it into something. Coerce it, turn it into something else. You see? This is why I call these people, when I communicate with you on that group and I throw this example, I'm not throwing example of Mother Teresa, do I? In fact, the saints of our time are entrenched in horror level of affiliation. You've no idea how these people in this religion, that religion, what is done in the name of religion. This is precisely why it's called Orwellian state. Everything is turned upside down. This apocalypse that you think I'm talking about, I'm just simply reading the news, that's all. It's happened already, started long time ago. Long time ago. At some point there was a window, there was a possibility. But that possibility somehow didn't allow that to happen. So we're having to live that all collectively. And the important thing is, it's like an injection here, in a proper sense of this term. It's an injection. It's taking the dosage of homeopathy. It's that bitter element. It's that arsenic. Because you need to be immune to poison. You need to bite that, feel it, the bitterness of that, so that you fully chew it. You don't spit it out immediately because you don't like it. You have to become one with it. It is in you where it will be neutralized, because you will produce the antibodies. You will create that what will counteract this illness that everyone is infected. And the whole world is now in a state of that pandemic, true state of pandemic. Yes, we can talk about, I'm sitting in a paradise. Why don't I share paradise with you? This window is open. It's a blue sky, silver, glistering light on the olive trees. And I'm inhaling the 100 trees of blossoming oranges. This neroli fills this room. There's so much I can talk to you now. I'm drinking fantastic tea, like beautiful things to hold, to look at, have wonderful children, gorgeous little Uma, cherry of my eye. Of course, we can talk about a lot of things. We can just start talking about art, and we will do that. But I want you to bite that. I want you to bite that pill. I want you to feel how that flavor released, so that this is fully contemplated on you. That's what it means. You're asking me, Malik, I'm telling you, this is the world of the Tantrika. The true Tantrika mounts himself on the corpse and dances on the dead. This is because all this is already dead. This is the attitude. A warrior attitude is that. At least I almost demand from man, from my... Those of you who consider yourself to be students, man, you need to be dead already. That's the true embodied masculine principle. Dead already. Nothing left other than duty, because man is born for duty. That's why we are in the male body. Duty is our highest order. Duty is what makes us who we are. This is our duty, to go through this life with as much integrity as we can master. Let be there the end tomorrow. We will not compromise that duty. We will not compromise that integrity. That's what life is worth living. Everything else is a cozy, shitty, nasty way of just parasitical living, not worthy of a man. So I want to communicate that. I speak a lot of sweet things, but I want to say what I truly, truly feel in this moment. I don't want to give you a pseudo kind of, that was a great meeting with Vamadeva again. Everyone came out glistening with the, and everyone was fluffy again. Just as every woman here born to love, love is the ultimate essence of the woman, the essence of the womanhood. In that same way, the essence of a man is duty. Yes, I'm reducing it to such a narrow understanding, Jordan Peterson for you. Such a narrow understanding of masculinity. So let me just add something here to perhaps afford also a fuller, more all-encompassing picture. My understanding that this, what is now being brought to its, maybe that resonance, that apogee, this final resolution, is always the case, has always been the case. And what we call the world and us in the world, what we call this embodied existence, has always been a very fragile affair. Always. Cosmologically speaking, it's never been like just, relax and just, smell the roses and yes. But it has never been that this world is totally protected. This existence of all the mythologies taught us one thing, is that the world has always been, as it were, in the possibility for it to be tapered with something nasty. Always. How, what, it doesn't matter. Where that nastiness will come from is beside the point. Whether this is planet or whether this is supernova, whether this is a comet that will pass by and burn the atmosphere of the earth that formed here for billions of years for life to take place. Or whether this some kind of parasitical kind of bacteria will develop that will completely destroy everything as we know it. Or whether we'll annihilate ourselves through nuclear holocaust. Or whether this will be some kind of world of half humans, half whatever that may be called, is beside the point. The point is that fragile state of this world is always the matter to be aware of and live fully here so as to embody it fully so that here it can always be healed or at least always be given chance to be healed. This is also the very meaning of the walking universe, because you are the world, there's no other world. And this is the paradoxical, incomprehensible picture. Every one of us are here that what the world is. Each and every one of us are the utter and entire universe. But in some universe, in potentiality, in not in actuality, not actualized, like in a Dreamwalker. In another, it's active. Somewhere it balances this act in the manner of the Kurukshetra. And at others, there is this full and utter harmony prevails. Complete paradise regained, restored. So yes, you are correct to point out when you started, you bring this reminder, so in previous discussions you talked about everything is fine. It is fine because there's a possibility for it to be fine. Because if you can be fine, can you make it fine? Then it will be fine. But if it's not fine just because it's fine by itself fine, no. This is where this teaching is radically different from that where it discards this individuality, and this is already the God will take care of itself. God bought a ticket and flew somewhere else, left kids home here to grow up. So therefore, asking for God, it's like waiting for a Godot. God will come and interfere. This dark age, I'm sorry, not the best way of looking into the reality of situation. So you can see now also this is a possibility of a greater insight into why this works suddenly, why Kashmir Shaivism, why the trick Shaivism, why such philosophy? Because I do believe it's an extraordinary opportunity, way that it presents, where it has this totality of the world, down to the blade of grass and grain of sand, here as nothing other than the very self, as nothing other than the very dear self of your own very being. But it's a balancing act, you see. It is always a balancing act. Even the most incorruptible can be corrupted by virtue of what is happening now in the world, because everything is perplexed. So you can't just settle on something because it somehow rings the truth to it. You have to constantly being able to merge the entirety of it all with your own being. So it is reabsorbed and reborn in you and nowhere else. When it is given that possibility, then the world is reborn, awashed, anew, saved indeed. Then the comet may pass but not burn the atmosphere. But it was a possibility. It might have width of the hair possibility exercised. The same way here. Always. Anything that happens by virtue of that balancing act being performed in your own self. Anytime we are pushed into that, what harden does, what makes us more closed, less loving, less forgiving, less in any way, then the possibility is being tipped. This is where it is balanced in you all the time. Likewise, whenever there is a possibility for, you know it all, you know very well what I'm saying, then it is saved nowhere but in yourself. It is a possibility that you can take that poison, and that poison is not poisoning the world, because it's not poisoning you. It cannot do that. by virtue of incorruptibility of who you are. It is reabsorbed into you and then reborn as the world is reborn all the time. Each frame at the time. Each frame at the time, reborn. The possibility for it to be reborn at the infinitesimal scale, at an infinitesimal level.